One of the things that we do at my nonprofit organization, Bond, the Brotherhood Organization of a New Destiny, we are rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. We also have an entrepreneur academy where we're teaching young men ages 15 and up how to start businesses. We bring in businessmen and they answer questions for these guys. They do all the work, but we get the information, help get the information. And a lot of folks want to start businesses around the country, but they just don't know how. I have with me Sue B. Zimmerman. She is a social media educator and business coach, named by Huffington Post as a top 50 must-follow women entrepreneurs in 2017. Sue, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Hey, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
And so you're walking down the road as a young 22-year-old person, and you decide, I want to start a business. What happened from that point forward?
I did. I started a business because I graduated from college with a degree in nutrition, and my first job offer actually fell through. So I needed to punt and figure something out that was going to work for me. So in addition to waitressing, I just embraced my passion, which was at the time hand painting clothing. So I started a little hand painted clothing business that turned into $1 million business at 22.
That's amazing. And were you surprised that it turned into $1 million business at the age of 22?
I don't know if the word was surprise. I knew I was onto something really big because I was hand painting boxer shorts, and then we started silk screening them. And then I got the attention of Disney and a lot of other licensed opportunities. And then I started selling to the colleges. And as soon as we started selling to all the colleges and universities, I knew that I was onto something really big. And so I just went with the growth day to day and the momentum of opportunities that came every day. And I just was loving what I was doing so much, obviously looking at those numbers and seeing the growth. But I was just more interested in the trend that I was starting, because I really did start the trend of boxer shorts.
And how did you get Disney's attention?
You know, back in the day, it wasn't as hard as it is today to get licenses with companies. And we ended up printing the Little Mermaids on the boxer shorts. And at the time, they wanted to have that category for little girls to be wearing, like boxer short pajama bottoms. So we had a contact at Disney and presented it, and they purchased them.
That's amazing. I wanted to ask, I asked this of my producer while preparing for the show. We work with young men, all men, but especially young men who want to start a business. But I noticed that a lot of them drink, like wine or some form of alcohol. And once you drink, you don't feel like doing anything that day, or you have to wait till you overcome that. Did you drink during that time, or do you drink at all?
I don't. I mean, alcohol has never been anything I've needed or really, truly. I mean, I enjoy an occasional mojito or a daiquiri, but I'm not that person that lives for the weekend to have wine or drink. It's just, I don't need it. I'd rather eat my calories, to be honest.
And so you have a natural energy that comes out of you, like a natural drive?
Yeah, I mean, I have been able to live my life with intention and purpose from a very young age. I've had 18 different businesses, so I have always done what I love, and when it doesn't feel right, I morph or pivot or, transform into the next opportunity that comes my way. I think if our audience is young entrepreneurs, I think the most important thing to bring to their attention is that when you are fulfilled with what you do and you don't dread waking up, going to work, doing the thing to make the money, but you literally love what you're doing and feel like you're living a life of purpose, it doesn't feel like work.
That's for sure.
That's been my life. And those values have been instilled in my three daughters I have twins that are 22. So they're your audience's age. And they're both very ambitious, and one has already started a company.
Amazing. Were you raised by both parents?
Oh, yeah. So I've been, my dad was an entrepreneur to some degree. He owned an automobile parts store, and I used to go into work with him on Saturday mornings really early, 5 a.m, just so I could be with him. And there I filed distributors and mufflers and swept the floor and did all that stuff just to be with him. But what I noticed and what I observed, and I think what I carry with me to this day in my business, is he had a very strong connection with his customers. He knew their names and would say them when they walked in the door, which is the most important word you can say to anyone is their name.
Yes.
And he had these great relationships. And even though now I teach and speak and mentor all over the world teaching Instagram marketing, I know the value of community and helping one person at a time and growing authentically from those relationships, like my dad instilled in his physical store. But now it's just I have this global reach and opportunity to connect with so many people because of social media and the way that I can just put myself out there.
I am working with, as I said, entrepreneur, young men who want to start businesses. There's one guy in my academy who, prior to coming to Bond, he had this idea that he wanted to start a clothing line, and so he got two of his friends to come on board with him. Mm-hmm. And now that he's in the academy, he's become more independent. He wanted to start another thing. Mm-hmm. And so he's trying to decide, do I give the clothing line over to my two friends, partners, and just go my way? Or because they're all in it, split three ways. What would you recommend for him?
Great question. And that was actually me back in the day when I had my boxer short business. I had a business partner, one partner, and not only was he my partner, but his family was involved in our business. And I did not align with their values. Yeah. And it was frustrating. And, like I said earlier, it wasn't feeling fun anymore. And so I ended up selling my partnership to him, moving from Virginia Beach, where the business was, back to Boston, where I live now. And it was the best decision that I made. So it was a buyout. And that money gave me the opportunity to not have to work for a couple years and reinvent myself, if you will. And to this day, I know that was a really strong decision that has just, it's closing a chapter and opening up another chapter. Yes. And so it's good. I mean, this is what an entrepreneur is. It's a journey. It's not a destination. And, I'm still on the journey, even though I've had so much success in so many businesses. I believe that now, for me specifically in teaching Instagram marketing, I get to teach and educate, but I also get to mentor and help the younger generation understand that when they're doing what they love, the world is just a better place.
That's
it really
right.
is.
So since he can't buy out, is it best that he just sign out? Says, hey, look, I want to end my contract with this or my agreement?
Well, they can't buy him out. They don't have any funds. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Well, I would put a stipulation in there that if they do start making money, that he gets 1/3 of the profits for the next 5 years or so.
Yeah. That's very good. Explain to me and my audience exactly what is Instagram marketing. I believe that's the word you use.
Yeah, so Instagram is a free app, and it is the hottest social media tool right now, where you can essentially tell your visual story from photos or videos and curate content that attracts those that you want to be doing business with. So whether it's in your feed, literally in your feed, where you create this digital scrapbook or magazine, I like to say, or whether it's in your Instagram stories, which is your highlight reel, where you daily can be broadcasting what's going on in your business, or it's in your highlights. There's always new features being added to Instagram. And so there's a lot of different, I like to say neighborhoods of Instagram, depending on where people like to hang out. Because some people like to hang out in the feed. Some people like to do stories and watch and consume stories. And some people just like to look at the highlight reels. And, for someone like myself, I use all of those features in addition to using the Instagram live feature where I can go live in my Instagram stories and do a broadcast for up to an hour. So there's so many amazing features within this little app called Instagram, which has been around now for 7 years.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't know that about Instagram. I don't hear a lot of people talking about it in that way.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, you definitely should check out my website and download my free guide so that you can get on the Instagram train.
So how can people get the stuff you're offering?
Yeah, so on my website, SueBZimmerman.com, there is a free Instagram strategy guide, which is awesome. It has 12 pages of a workbook that you can actually print out and do, because I believe that people download things all over the internet, but they don't actually do the work. So
Yes.
we want you to do the work. So we gave you this workbook to follow along. It's really good. And if you're interested in Instagram, you should absolutely grab that. And then for those of you that are interested in having better business habits, I also have a free 3-series video that will come into your inbox. You'll get a new video for the next 3 days if you join that Better Business Habits. And this is all about your workspace, your personal space, and your finances.
You made such a good point. You offer this book, and you know that if they do it, it would work. But a lot of people get the book, and they'll read it. Some might read it, but it still won't do. And I was just yelling at the young people in my class. I'm like, look, you got to do it, not just read it. You got to do. Why do people read but don't do?
It's the doers that have great success.
Yeah.
You have to actively process information. You can't passively process it. So a lot of people read, download this and you can earn 6 figures, or do you want to earn 7 figures? And there's so much BS on the internet that you have to be careful with. And I am always leading with authentic content and like I said earlier, building relationships. And I want people to download that to build good trust. I don't necessarily want them to purchase anything. I want them to feel good about the time that it took them to click the button, put in their email, and get that in their inbox and have a great first experience, because good experiences lead to opportunities. And after they download that strategy guide, we have an email sequence to follow that continues to nurture the relationship. And that's what it's all about.
You made such a good point at the beginning of this conversation. You worked with your father as a young person, and in working with your father, it helped to develop that desire within you. I've noticed that a lot of parents today, they don't teach their children or allow their children to work from the beginning. I know parents who are literally sending their kids through school, and they're in different sports and just sports or some type of something, and the kids are not learning to work at all. And so if they do finish college, they still don't have that desire to be independent and to work and do for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, work can be things simple, like I remember as a young Girl Scout selling cookies, like the lessons I learned as a salesperson.
Yeah.
I wanted the big prize. I didn't stop until I won and got the prize. I'm very persistent. I get what I want and I don't stop until I get what I want. And either you have it or you don't.
Yes.
Either it's in your DNA to be an entrepreneur or it's not. It's just I am wired to be an entrepreneur because I don't get caught up in the minutia of pleasing others and the money aspect of it. And I get such a charge out of helping other people have success, because ultimately their success is a direct reflection on my success. So if my students, my clients, and those that listen to me when I speak on stage can't walk away with some kind of win or just aha moment or, oh my gosh, that's such a good idea, I'm going to try it, I feel like I didn't do what I set out to do. And so I always try to deliver on that.
Are there people who are not cut out to be entrepreneurs? They are workers. They are employees or workers and not entrepreneurs.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I don't think everyone is cut out to be an entrepreneur. It
Right.
is hard. It is stressful. You relentlessly have to show up as that person. There's this great quote that I actually shared. I'm looking at my phone because I don't want to say it wrong, but there's this great quote that I shared on my Facebook page recently, and it's all about, owning your niche. So it goes like this. It's not just about knowing your niche. It's about pure commitment to owning that niche, meaning commitment to show up to serve those that you're trying to attract.
Yes.
It doesn't just magically happen when you say, I'm the Instagram expert. No, you have to show and help and teach every day,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's true. Do you have fear in business?
I don't. I really don't. I have failed in different businesses, to be honest. But when you fail, you get back up and you learn. So I'm all about learning and growing, and I don't fear failure ever.
Yeah. And what do you say to people who do have fear of failure or fear of starting a business or fear of this or that? How do you overcome that for those who do have it?
It's probably because they want to please somebody else, and
Yes.
like, I don't care what other people think about me. I do what makes me happy. I really do. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm very happily married. I've got amazing parents, in-laws. I've got awesome kids. I have a team. I have employees. And I show up, I have a potty mouth, which I control myself on your broadcast. And I do me.
I
Like,
know.
I don't care about doing you or being you.
That's
I
right.
do me. And so when you are completely in your skin and feel good about who you are and know that you have a good moral compass,
Yes.
then greatness happens.
So my final question, well, two final, we're running out of time. One is that you are known for, at least according to the Huffington Post, an entrepreneur for women. Do you work with men or males?
Yeah, in fact, I do. But the thing about niching down and knowing who you serve, I would say 80% of the people that I serve are women 40 and older. And I know that. So I try to speak to them
Yeah.
and not try to speak to everyone in the world. But by the way, the 20-year-olds, they love me. I mean, because I can keep up with them. Like, I know exactly what's going on in social media. They learn from me. I understand what a hashtag is and how to use it and geotagging and all the things that they say about Snapchat and Twitter. And like, I can keep up with them. Quite frankly, middle-aged entrepreneurs often don't understand the impact that social selling can have on their business if it's done well. So I teach to that and
Right
help
on.
people understand it.
We have about a minute and a half. Tell us a little bit about your show, The Social Sip.
Social Sip.
Yeah, and how people can hear it.
Yeah, so I started well, first of all, I'll say this really quickly. It took a year to prepare this show because I had an idea in my mind a while back, but we just needed to put all the right pieces together, which was branding and a logo and intent and content and, how long should it be and how many episodes and segments. So it took a while to develop. It sits on my Facebook page. You can find it and subscribe to it, SubiZimmerman.com/sip. And this is where I share all of my entrepreneurial aspects of my life, like how to work smarter and not harder. I share great resources, and I don't typically talk about Instagram. And I bring my team members on with me to co-host the show. It's every other Wednesday, 12:30 EST. And I had one yesterday specifically talking about my must-haves on Amazon and why I'm obsessed with Amazon.
Amazing. Sue, thank you so much for coming on. I totally enjoyed discussing this with you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
All right. Have a good day.
You too.
All right. Oh, man. Amazing.